Hey team!
It's Klaxoon.
Hey team, it's Klaxoon.
Hey team, it's Clarkson.
Hey team, it's Klaxoon.
Hey team, it's Klaxoon!
Hey Tim, it's Klaxoon.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our live session called Hey Team, it's Klaxoon. My name is Megan. I'm an account manager at Klaxoon, and I'm very happy to be with you today. Really the goal and concept of Klaxoon Live is to give you an overview of those moments of team collaboration with some specific user examples of how teams are using Klaxoon. So how is a team using Klaxoon? What are they using it to do? And how are they benefiting from the tool? We've got about 30 minutes together today, so please feel free to send in any and all questions, and we can tackle those in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And we can go through some slides together. Awesome. So what is Klaxoon? Klaxoon is a productivity tool that has been adopted by millions of teams worldwide. When teams adopt Klaxoon, they are really looking to hold efficient, ideal meetings. So what does that mean? What is an ideal meeting? Klaxoon has done a lot of research on the subject of meetings, so I like to start with a pretty staggering statistic, which is that we spend about 16 years of our professional lives on average in meetings. In my opinion, that is a little bit too much, so let's see what an ideal meeting is consisted of. It's participative, so your participants are engaged, they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, their feedback, their opinions. We're making decisions because that's why we met in the first place, right? And we can do this in about 30 minutes or less. That's the ideal meeting. So the sad reality for some of us is that it takes a long time to kind of have these roundtable discussions where maybe only a couple of people are contributing their thoughts. So it's difficult to get to that group consensus that we're searching for. And in the US, the average meeting length is 90 minutes. So how do we shorten that? How do we make that more efficient and more engaging? With Klaxoon, of course. So Klaxoon is a full suite of collaboration tools. There's nothing to download when you use Klaxoon, so it's accessible from any web browser and any device, which makes it super easy to use. So these tools are really for all of those moments where you're collaborating with your team, whether that is just a project, a meeting, classic meeting, a training, a workshop. We have got the suite of tools. A couple of examples of how some of the tools are used by teams today. Say you are launching a new process on your team and you want to make sure that everyone has captured the information, you can send them a quiz. If you're looking to get some feedback about an upcoming project or presentation, you can send your team a survey. Let's see, one of the activities that I want to hone in on just a little bit deeper today is called Brainstorm. So Brainstorm is our flagship activity. It's been used by millions of teams around the world. And what it is if you think about like a white paperboard with sticky notes, this is the digital version of that. So let's take a closer look. This is a brainstorm that obviously has already been completed and filled out by a marketing team. So right off the bat, things that we can see are that it's super visual. So everything in Klaxoon is super visual. Brainstorm is an infinite digital whiteboard where the members of your team can submit their sticky notes and then organize their ideas. So really going from ideation to action planning. This is an example of a marketing team that gets together every Friday morning to talk about what they did over the course of the week and what they've got upcoming next week. So based on this legend that they created for themselves, They've submitted their sticky notes, green ones for their priorities, blue for their scheduled tasks, red for their highlights, etc. So now when they meet on Friday morning, they have already submitted their sticky notes. We've eliminated this long roundtable discussion where not everyone contributes, and we're ready to hit the ground running. It's accessible by everyone. You can organize it with the use of this really easy to use toolbar. And there are a couple of other cool things that I want to point out, because as much as it is easy to use, we've got some advanced features that are really helping teams get organized. So this column view is accessible with a simple click of a button right down here on the right. You click on view and you view the exact same sticky notes in a column form. So all of those same labels that we had seen previously organized by individual team member, now I can see all of the scheduled tasks for the entire team. So everyone's happy, everyone's organized. You can even go deeper into Brainstorm, and this is one of my favorite features. You can ask questions on individual sticky notes. So say you send in a sticky note, like this person sent out a poll to his team about a specific topic. So all of the information is centralized, accessible by everyone, and nothing's getting miscommunicated. So it's a really great way to kind of go deeper in your planning, in your organization, in your meetings. Let's now tackle a couple of real life examples of how teams are using Brainstorm and Klaxoon's suite of tools around the world. So this is Patrick. Patrick is a process improvement manager, and he manages a team of 12 people all around Europe. So his challenge is getting teams to participate because he does mostly remote meetings. So when he has participants join in, sometimes they go on mute or they are not participating in the discussion. They're not helping to make decisions. And really it's kind of a top-down approach to meetings, which he's trying to avoid. It's long, it's inefficient, and he really wants to get a group consensus. He wants everyone to feel engaged. So what does he do? He uses Klaxoon, of course, and he launches a meeting. So what does he do? Right off the bat, he launches a live storm as an icebreaker with his team. And a live storm is Klaxoon's version of a word cloud. So to have everyone feel like they're participating and get everyone engaged, he can ask them a question. In one word, how was your week? And everyone gets a notification. They respond on their respective devices, and they can see the participation of them answering the question in this super visual way. A word cloud is formed in real time on the screen, and they feel engaged right off the bat. He continues his meeting by sharing slides. One of my favorite things about the meeting feature in Klaxoon is that you can embed activities onto individual slides. And then at the end of his presentation, he wants to make sure everyone has captured the information that he shared. So he sends out a quiz. The final thing that he does is send out a vote. So that's what you're seeing on the screen right now. In real time, he can ask his group, should we move forward with this action plan? And they answer. Again, there's a visual representation of them answering the question. And here we see that 60% of the group voted yes. So he's getting that group consensus that he was craving, and everyone's engaged in the discussion. A couple other examples. This is a value proposition canvas. This was constructed by a consultant. Mary does RFPs. She goes through RFPs as part of her job. And typically what she would do is go room to room in her office carrying a white paperboard and sticky notes, which is definitely a good way to do it. But for keeping everything kind of centralized and to have no miscommunication amongst anyone on the team giving their feedback, she created this in Brainstorm. And this is awesome because it's super visual. People can access it on their own time. This is a living, breathing document where people can submit their feedback. So she was able to generate more feedback, so a value add to the end customer, and she was really able to move projects along with the group. She was spending about 6 hours a week, kind of, going from room to room and asking for people's feedback. And now she does it in about an hour and a half, which is awesome. This is an example of how a trainer used Brainstorm to create an icebreaker before his training started. So he got really creative. He had the participants send in visual representations of what they think they look like. And he created different categories based on the colors. If I were a city, what would I be? If I were an everyday object, what would I be? So the trainees got to know each other before the session even began, and they were able to hit the ground running, and there was a certain comfort level then established between the group, and this was a really great way to start the training session. One last one. This is a really, again, super visual, very awesome way to use Brainstorm. This is a risk analysis matrix. So this is awesome because participants can send in their sticky notes and then go and place them in the appropriate buckets based on how critical the task is versus how likely or unlikely it is to happen. And they can move the sticky notes on their own as it progresses. So they're engaged, they're involved, and it's accessible by everyone. So those are a few different ways that people are using Brainstorm around the world. I personally am not super creative, so I'm very grateful for this template library that Klaxoon created. What it is kind of ready to use plug and play templates for the Brainstorm feature. Whether you are kind of starting a weekly meeting or doing a retrospective with a client or road mapping a project, there is a template for you. It includes instructions, tutorial videos to help get you started, because when you're dealing with a blank, empty space, sometimes it's hard to know how you want to organize yourself. So we totally get it. The template library is here for you. Especially this one, remote teamwork. We are now all part of this, full remote workforce. So this one is definitely helping teams get started adjusting to that change. So that is template library. It is accessible for any Klaxoon license holder, but also right now we're doing a 90-day free trial. We started that in March. So please feel free to sign up for that. You'll have access to this template library, and you'll be able to get started using Klaxoon right away. So that was a quick overview of Klaxoon and Brainstorm. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick and love to open it up to some questions. So let's see. All right, we've got some good ones coming in. Does Klaxoon work with Microsoft Teams? Great question. Yes, we are fully integrated with Microsoft Teams. So if that is your preferred form of communication with your team, absolutely. When you're in your channel, you can hit your little plus sign and you'll see all of the applicable apps that are available to you, and Klaxoon should definitely be one of them. You can launch a Brainstorm right there in your channel, so everything stays centralized. Can we export, import data in Klaxoon? Great question, absolutely. You can definitely, we give you the flexibility to not only duplicate activities, but also send them to other people. You can import all kinds of data to your Brainstorm and export it as well. So we make that super easy. Can the participants move the sticky notes themselves? 100%. There are a couple of different modes in Brainstorm. So one of them is animator mode, and one of them is free mode. So if you're in free mode, your participants can move their sticky notes wherever they want. Just like in that risk analysis matrix, you can move your sticky notes from one box to the next. Some animators, when they're facilitating a workshop or something like that, they like to be in animator mode so that they can take out the individual sticky notes from their idea box to keep everyone on track if there's some ideas that are less relevant than the others. What is the difference between Klaxoon and Mural? Oh my gosh, the number one question we're getting these days. Awesome. So Mural is, complementary, definitely has some complementary features. And Klaxoon likes to differentiate itself by offering an entire suite of tools. So we don't just offer the brainstorming feature, we offer, like I was mentioning, quizzes, surveys, way to streamline meetings. You can send out live questions to your group in the form of votes, polls, ratings. So we really have kind of, you have your digital whiteboard, but we have a much wider range of tools. And that's really what helps us differentiate ourselves. Let's see, other questions? Does Klaxoon gather all of the collaborative tools such as Zoom? Great question. So I'm using Zoom right now. You're always going to want to kind of facilitate the use of Klaxoon with your conferencing tool for remote meetings. A side note is that Klaxoon is totally user-friendly in person as much as it is remotely. So remote and face-to-face. In terms of using a conference call tool, you can share your screen just like I was doing before, and that's what gives you the audio visual capabilities. But Klaxoon is going to be complementary to that. And we don't discriminate between Zoom, MS Teams, WebEx, whatever you use to communicate with your team, go ahead and keep using that, but now add Klaxoon. All right, let's see. What other activities are available other than Brainstorm, and to do what? Great question. So I kind of covered that a little bit in terms of survey and quiz. Those are a little bit self-explanatory. So if you wanted to get people's opinion about something, you could send them a survey. We kind of include questions like, multiple choice, single choice, rankings, ratings, and you would use that to really get an opinion-based kind of consensus from your group. If you wanted to test their knowledge or assess their knowledge, you could use our quiz feature. You can do votes, you can do polls, you can do ratings. Again, that's to get that consensus, those responses that help you make decisions and make them faster. And then we've got a whole set of tools that are kind of designated as our test and learn tools. So those include Capsule, Mission, Adventure. So those are awesome for trainers or teachers. And I see that question that just came up. Klaxoon is not necessarily designated as a tool for trainers or teachers, but absolutely you can use it for that. So we've got that whole section of tools that's great for helping the learning process. And you can implement those activities before, during, and after your learning event. So if you're doing, a training session, you can send out a survey beforehand. What are you interested in getting out of this training? During the training, you can use our meeting feature to present your information. And then afterwards, you can send out a quiz to make sure that the information has been captured by your group. So definitely an awesome tool for trainers and trainees. And we have really positive feedback from those types of groups. Okay, let's see. Anything else coming through here? All right, well, I know we have a little bit more time. I can totally pause and see if other questions come through. Otherwise, please feel free to send any questions to our team. Again, we have that free trial going on, which is an awesome way to get started with Klaxoon. We have about 10,000 new users every day. We would love for you to be one of them. And all of that information is available on our website. Our trial comes with our dedicated customer support from our customer success team. They are awesome. They're ready to help you and answer all of your questions. But really, thank you so much for participating and joining in this session. Stay safe. Stay healthy, keep sending in your questions, and we will get those all answered for you.